Hello, and welcome to Truth Talk. Right now, you are listening to episode 5 in a series called Fickle, the Weathervane situation, number 5. This series was done for a troubled young man who asked me to elaborate so that he may better find the words to understand the situation that he found himself in. So therefore, we will continue where we left off. He just sent me a text message and asked me a very, very important question. And I'll allow you, as he requested, to listen in so that if you are caught in a storm, perhaps you can find a verbal umbrella to shelter yourself. I just told him, you hear commitments spoken with confidence, but the follow through dissolves. Over time, the gap between words and actions becomes its own kind of weather pattern. Cloudy, unreliable, hard to navigate. I went on to explain to the young man, sometimes you hear the words and want to believe them, but something inside you braces because you've been here before. Partner makes promises, but repeatedly fails to follow through. Words can shine like coins in an open palm, but some promises melt the moment you try to hold them. Now, sit where you feel supported. Breathe in slowly and notice a steady sense of the room. Light, textures, the familiar steadiness you recall from family life in Texas, or perhaps Dallas, or Los Angeles, or even Denver, or maybe New York City, Brooklyn, or in Rifle. Bring to mind a recent promise your partner made and did not keep. See the moment it was offered, the tone, the gesture, the place, and then the moment it wasn't fulfilled. An empty chair, an undone task, a quiet disappointment. Sense the physical reaction in your body. A tightening, a hollow, a small sinking. Now, imagine a workbench you know. Sturdy wood. Tools neatly arranged. Each tool with a purpose. Lay out 3 tools. A tape measure labeled expectation. A wrench labeled agreement. And a calendar labeled check-in. Touch them mentally. The tape measure helps you define what was promised in clear terms. The wrench tightens vague intentions into specific actions. The calendar marks when you'll review progress. When promises are broken, use the tape measure. Restate the original commitment in concrete sensory detail. What? When? How? Now, place the wrench on the agreement. Transform vague promises into specific, observable tasks. You will now mow the lawn on Saturday by 4 p.m. rather than you'll help more. Then set the calendar. A brief, neutral check-in, 10 to 15 minutes, to confirm whether the task was done and how it felt. Now, form a short sentence to anchor your voice. When commitments aren't followed through, I feel let down. Let's agree on specifics and a quick check-in so we both know how it's going. Say it slowly, inwardly, and notice how your posture and tone steady. If frustration or resignation appears, name it and set it on the bench. Seen, not reacted to. Decide one practical step now. Choose one current promise to specify with measurable detail and schedule a short check-in within a defined time, today or within a week. If repeated failures continue despite clear agreements, prepare a boundary action you can follow through on. Reduce resilience on that partner for that task. Hire help. Limit shared responsibilities. Anchor with 3 sensory reminders: the cool metal of the wrench, precision; the crisp edge of the tape measure, clarity; and the weight of the calendar, time bound. Breathe. Feel the chair beneath you. And when you open your eyes, carry the tools, clear expectations, tightened agreements, and timely check-ins into the conversation. And as another promise dissolves, you see how exhausting it is to keep believing in weather that never settles. The weathervane turns easily, but your trust shouldn't have to. There's a moment after a promise dissolves when the mind wants to rush in and fill the silence with explanations. We start stitching together stories: why they said it, why they didn't follow through, what it means about them, what it means about us. But assumptions are just another kind of wind. They swirl, they gust, they pull us off center. They make us chase answers that may not exist or may not belong to us. So take a breath here, a slow one, the kind that brings you back into your own body, your own knowing, your own ground. Because the truth is this: you don't have to invent reasons for someone else's weather. You don't have to decode every shift in their sky. You don't have to turn their inconsistency into a story about your worth. Sometimes people make promises they want to keep, but simply can't. Sometimes they speak from hope instead of capacity. Sometimes they mean well, but live in winds they haven't learned to navigate. And none of that is yours to solve. What is yours is the right to pause before assuming, to ask questions instead of filling in blanks, to seek clarity instead of carrying confusion, to choose steadiness even when someone else is spinning. You are allowed to say, I need consistency, I need follow through. I need actions that match words. I need weather I can trust. Not as a demand, but as a truth. And if someone cannot meet you there, it doesn't mean you weren't worthy of the promise. It simply means their weather vane is still turning. And you are learning to stand in your own calm. Let this be your reminder. You don't have to assume. You don't have to explain. You don't have to chase the wind. You can choose clarity. You can choose steadiness. You can choose yourself. Thank you for listening today. I hope that these humble words were the ones that you wanted to hear. You've been listening to Fickle, the Weathervane, situation number 5. A dialogue between a listener just like you. Until the next episode, take care of your mind. Be kind to your spirit and honor your body.